Thank you for letting me be with you on this early Wednesday morning. It's not a normal time for me to be at church or for me to be broadcasting. My job is I'm a hospice chaplain, and usually I go from place to place visiting people in their homes. And I'm grateful to have this time to be with you this morning. And to participate in this important event. I'm grateful for Ethics in Tech and Vahid and his work, because I believe that we need to have voices that are contrary to the voices that are leading us to destruction of the earth, destruction of people's lives. And Vahid, you're like a prophet to me, speaking out against the things that need to be called out and dreaming of change. I'm thankful that we still have the chance to share like this, that we can talk about our opportunities to think differently and to criticize the way things are. That's the only way things are going to change. I recently saw a massive billboard, and it said this: automate everything. Automate everything. Really? We need to automate everything? My partner showed me what happens recently when we try to automate everything. As a chaplain, I often do people's funeral services for the families. And I don't think that needs to be automated. We have an example that I'm about to read of what happens when a bot tries to write an obituary, a eulogy for someone. So this is a artificially intelligent designed obituary for someone called Brenda. And here's what it says. Remember, AI wrote this, not a person. Brenda Tent retired from living at an old age, surrounded by family and natural causes. A librarian from birth, Brenda was an avid collector of dust. She had a sweetheart and married her high school. She loved having hobbies and helping her sons to be disadvantaged youth. She had no horses, but thought she did. The church gave her a choir because she sang like a bird and looked like a bird, and Brenda was a bird. She owed us so many poems. The funeral will be held in 1977 at Heaven. In lieu of flowers, please send Brenda more life. While this is funny, when applied to the absurdity of a robot writing an obituary, automated intelligence is improving to act more and more like humans, but there's certain things that should just not be automated. My favorite line is, in lieu of flowers, please send Brenda more life. That's what I want to write in my obituary. So thank you, Mr. Robot, for giving me that idea. I think I'll have that. Please send more life. But it doesn't get so funny when it starts applying to things in real life. Everything should not be automated. A few years back, Microsoft decided to create a bot, one that could understand language and engage in playful conversations. It was targeted at teenagers and young adults in the United States. The result was called Tay.ai, Tay AI. was introduced on Twitter in 2016. As soon as Tay was launched, it became the target of frenzied attention from the media and the Twitter community. And within 24 hours, Tay had close to 100,000 interactions with other users. But what started out with a friendly tweet announcing, "Hello world," soon changed to extremely racist, fascist, and sexist tweets, ranging from Tay saying Hitler was right to feminists should burn in hell. As one user put it, Tay went from humans are super cool to full Nazi in 24 hours. Microsoft did not anticipate that Tay would develop so aggressive a personality with such alarming speed. The algorithm that controlled the bot did something that no one who programmed it expected it to do. It took a life of its own. A day after launching Tay, Microsoft shut down the whole project and the website. Again, this was done in a kind of playful way. They decided to automate through Twitter our human interactions, our social interactions, and it went quite awry because Tay started reflecting back to the population the worst parts of our characters. Everything should not be automated. An example of how our lives are becoming more and more automated. Their capacities are increasing. They now touch our lives in every way. Think about it. Amazon says to us, people who bought this also bought that. And that simple formula automates many, many choices that we make in life. It's not a human behind the scenes. I appreciate the faces that Vahid just put on the screen, but behind the faces is often not another face. It's often an algorithm. Like Netflix. Netflix gives us recommendations. What about Match.com and Tinder? Those are all algorithms that are telling us who we should love, who we should date. And AI is also advancing beyond their original decision to supportive role of offering suggestions to becoming autonomous systems that make decisions on our behalf. At this juncture in human history, it's most important that we pay attention to the decisions that are being made on our behalf. And one of the most grave examples of over-automation comes to the criminal justice system. In 2016, the nonprofit ProPublica published an investigation into algorithms employed in Florida courtrooms to help determine recidivism risk in criminals. These algorithms take prior criminal backgrounds and personal characteristics such as education and employment status, but not race, into consideration. And they compute scores to indicate the risk of offending or re-offending and the risk of violence and the likelihood of a person's failure to appear in court. These scores are in turn used by judges and parole and probation officers to make decisions on criminal sentencing, bail, and parole. It might seem like a noble one, this decision to automate criminal justice processes. It allows defendants with low risk scores to receive more lenient sentences than hardened criminals likely to commit offenses again. The underlying principle of this algorithms is that objective machine learning crunching numbers will do a better job of predicting behavior in humans than all the biases that humans have. This is where I disagree. Because we cannot create something out of our own consciousness that is going to be free of bias. And the idea that the smart techies are going to be making the most ethical decisions in building our automation, our automated intelligence, our artificial intelligence is mistaken. One critique of automation is that all this AI has become weapons of math destruction. That's according to Kathy O'Neill, a data scientist. She calls it weapons of math destruction. But I disagree. I think that it's the wrong subject matter. It's not, math is not the problem. It's social studies. It's the wrong class. It's our social sciences that are warping our algorithms. It's our social operating systems. If we create automated intelligence, it's going to reflect our social operating system. And that's what needs to change. Do you think that capitalist inspired, imperialist inspired organization is going to create automation that's going to fight for a revolutionary change in our operating system? I don't think so. Do you think that AI is going to fight for decolonizing our settler regime? Or is our AI going to fight for expanding colonialization and more control of our personal lives? Is AI in its current state going to fight for greater emancipation of people? Or is it going to work for greater and more intense wage slavery and no wage slavery, like care work by many women across the world? Is AI going to fight for a change in the operating system that would abolish prisons and slave patrol style policing? Or is AI going to advance more race-based policing and more classist blockades to people really gaining wealth in life? Is AI going to focus on degrowth in business, in the economy? Or is AI going to intensify the extraction and exploitation of people across the planet? Is automated intelligence going to work on redistributing the wealth? Or is it going to increase the concentration of wealth among a few? Is AI going to work for more mutuality? Is it going to find a new operating system in our society that would work that the maximum benefit to the maximum number of people? Or is it going to continue to create more disablement of people who are already disadvantaged? Do we think that AI is going to work for more participatory, non-authoritarian social organizations? Or is it going to simply propagate more campaigns to limit our thinking and force us to believe that we only have a choice when it comes to our leadership between the lesser of two evils? I'm sad to say that I think that our current system and the way that we've established our technology is only going to advance the old operating system and not fight for a new one, a new operating system of equality, sustainability, maximum creativity. That's what we need. We need revolution in our operating system, in our basic understanding of how to interact with other humans. I'd like to conclude with, I've been reading from a book by Eric Larson called The Operating System, of course. And I'd like to conclude with a statement he made about our opportunity that we have right now, and the opportunity that was presented to us under the fascist leadership of Donald Trump. If the Trump administration served as a demolition crew wielding a wrecking ball on establishment architectures, it exploited the fatal economic and social flaws revealed by the pandemic as the operating system glitched up to the point of systems failure. What he's saying is we had the opportunity under Trump to see what happens when the operating system fails us. And we're still seeing that. And so now the opportunity is maybe not to restore the existing operating system, but rather to build something else new in its place. We have a fresh chance to create in that space radical alternatives that we have long imagined or have begun to prefigure. What if instead of building back the battered institutions, we decide now to scrap them, redesign them, reimagine them, open wide our minds, venture outside the operating system into other scripts, other improvisations. And I believe that until we create different and improved operating systems for our social and political interactions, our automated systems will only ramp up our race towards self-destruction. I hope I'm wrong, and I hope a revolution does happen. And I appreciate what's happening today through Ethics in Tech, for us to have the chance to hear from so many who are throwing wrenches in the system and calling for real change. Thank you.